She's rough. Want to know one of the nice things about electric over hydraulic dump trucks? You don't have to have the engine on for the bed to go up. Oh, the WD-40 is even cold. This is what I mean when it says that it needs a little bit of work. Actually, that wasn't half bad. Throughout the whole process that I've been working on this truck, for anyone that hasn't seen it, this is a 1986 Ford F350 single cab dually diesel dump truck with I think it has a C6 transmission in it and a 6.9 liter international motor. This is an old school antique truck that I'm trying to put back into service again. So pretty much with this whole thing, I have been kind of just sitting here scratching my head like, gee, I don't know where to start at. You know, do I put tires on it or brakes on it? I mean, it needs like the works. It doesn't need an engine or transmission or an axle. It doesn't need any of that stuff. The frame is okay. You know, it just needed a lot of little things. And I just kind of sit here and scratch my head, you know, where do I start? It needed cab corners. Let's see, where are you guys going to see that? It needs cab corners. It needed floor pans, some patchwork on the cab, etc., etc. The list goes on and on, but it is still a semi-clean and straight old truck. I mean, it's really not, I mean, it's not that bad. An old classic, actually an old antique. So anyways, getting to this dump bed, you know, again, you heard me say in the beginning of the video, it's really nice to have an electric over hydraulic dump bed because I don't have to start the truck to raise the bed. So I kind of like that. It doesn't have as much power as a normal one does. So, oh well. There's the inspector. Hi, Persia. What are you doing, huh? You need some attention. We think a hawk tried to pick her up. She had to have some minor surgery there. And if we hadn't have gotten to that, we'd have lost her. So, but I'm glad she's doing better now. Now I get to do a bunch of welding underneath the bed of this truck. And I definitely underestimated how much I have to do here. So these rails here, because there were two pieces of metal, the floor, and then these C-channels here. Of course, two pieces of metal that are touching. What happens is they rust, and this bed originally had big gaping rust holes all along here. Everywhere where there was a cross member or something was a big rust hole. So the floor had a hole in it as well as the channel did. So I had to put I have to weld in these like angle irons. Those are actually bed frame. This steel here is only like 1/8 of an inch thick, which for a big dump truck bed, you would think that this would be made out of much thicker steel. Apparently not. So I have this thing as propped up as we can. We got the hydraulics holding it. I have another bar in here. It's sitting on this gray bar down onto that cross member there, and then I have the stop in place. So I don't really like being underneath this thing because a lot of people have been killed doing something like this, and it's just kind of it's a little unnerving, and that's a ways up there too. I can barely reach the top of that standing on that bar and on the tires. So, well, here goes nothing, right? Whoops. Well, today is almost December 1st of 2023, and today's high was like 50 degrees, and in western Pennsylvania, that doesn't happen too often. So I'm going to seize the opportunity to do some welding on the old dump truck here. I have to say I absolutely love using this titanium 125. It's a titanium Flux 125 welder from Harbor Freight. This thing is leaps and bounds better than that 90 amp one that I was using, and it is so nice to use. DC is so much better than AC for welding. There's a lot less spatter, there's less cleanup you have to do. So it's a really, if you're looking at this, watching this video, and you're deciding between the 90 amp or I think it's the 120 amp or whatever, they've changed the name of it now, but the 90 amp one or the Flux 125 for like, I don't know, $50 or $75 more, get the 125. You'll really like it. And actually, this welder was given to me, a subscriber or a viewer from Ohio. I still remember. I can't remember your name, and if you're watching this video, I want to thank you again. You have no idea how much better welding with that welder is compared to what I was using. So thank you very much. I do have a bigger welder in the shop there, but it is probably weighs about 700 or 800 pounds, 600, 700, 800 pounds, something like that, and it's too heavy for me to move. I need to have a dedicated spot for it outside in a little lean-to, or just a little it'd be a large dog kennel to put it in, so I don't have to move it. But this welder will do fine. And another reason why I'm using this welder is because this is only a 120 volt welder, and this is pretty much my biggest welding project I've ever done, I've ever tried to tackle. And you're looking at probably $600 to $700 worth of steel to plate this bed. And I'm using it's still rated for 3/16 steel, which is what this is. However, I don't want to use the big welder and put a bunch of heat into it and possibly warp stuff. You can warp 3/16, you can warp 1/4 inch. Heck, I've even, with that big welder, I think I warped, I think it was 5/8 thick steel. So sometimes, as long as the welder's rated for it, just use the smallest one that you can and sort of max out the welder, just because you physically cannot put too much heat into it. The welder just doesn't have the power.